Hi and welcome to this third video on percentage. In this video, I'll talk about percentage change, successive percentage change, and we'll also solve a few very important questions on percentage change and successive percentage change that frequent in your exams. Not only will you see questions on the same topic in quant section, but you'll also see application of the same in data interpretation questions. So let's get started. So I'll begin by discussing the concept of percentage change. So any increase or decrease in a quantity will result in a percentage change. And how do we calculate is something that I'll discuss. So let's say you're in the city Bangalore and let's say we are discussing the weather, right? So let's say between yesterday and today, the difference in temperature is like this. So let's say yesterday the temperature was 40 degrees and today it is 30 degrees. So the question is, what is the percentage change that has happened? So the simple formula for percentage change typically is the difference, that is the change, upon original into 100. That means it will become 10 because 40 minus 30 is 10 upon what was the original? 40 into 100. That becomes your 25%. Right? So this is the simple concept of percentage change. Now, one thing that is important is to note is the base. That means if I take another city, let's say we are in Delhi and we are discussing same, let's say your temperature, and let's say the discussion is between yesterday and today's temperature. And let's say now here it has increased from 30 degrees to 40 degrees. So the question is, what is the percentage change? So although the degree change is the same, 10 degrees, there it's increasing, here it's decreasing, there it was decreasing, here it's increasing, but the formula will be the difference, which is 10 upon original. What is the original? It is 30 into 100. So here it's not 25, as you can see, it's 33.33%. So did you see the difference? So here the degree change is the same, but because the base was different, so the percentage change comes to be different. Very simple but important. Now let's move on to the concept of successive percentage change. So let's say you joined college and let's say your first year and you got certain marks, right? Whatever, let's say X marks, right? Now what's happening is you realize that you need to work harder, and let's say you got a 10% increase in your marks in second year, and in the third year there's a 20% increase. So the question is, what is your percentage change total, right, between first year and third year? So let's say this change is A, this percentage change is B. So the formula is for the resultant change A plus B plus AB upon 100, right? So this becomes 10 plus 20 plus 10 into 20 upon 100. So these two zeros gone. So 30 plus 2, it becomes your 32%. That's the change. So this is the concept of successive percentage change. Now it need not always be positive, right? So for example, let's say I'll take a slightly different example. So let's say you had some cash available to you, and let's say you said, okay, let me invest a little, right? You got excited, you heard about Bitcoin, and let's say you invested in Bitcoins. So let's say you took some amount in the Bitcoin, and what you did is that, let's say in the first month there was a 50% jump, right, in the value of Bitcoin, whereas in the second month there was a decrease by 40%. So the question is, did you make a profit or a loss? So how will you do it? Same formula, A plus B. Now B in this case is minus 40, as you can see, right, plus AB, so 50 into 40, or minus 40 it is actually, right? 50 into minus 40 upon 100. So how much it becomes? This is 10, these two 0 gone, 10 minus 20. So it's actually minus 10%. So basically you are at a loss of 10%, right? So simple concept of successive percentage change. Now let's solve a few questions that will frequent in your aptitude exams. Okay, so the first question says my income increased by 25% and it is now $10,000. So the question is, what was the original income? This is what you have to calculate. So I have seen students making the mistake by saying this 10,000, and if original you have to calculate, you can just subtract 25% from this. But mind you, the base earlier was not $10,000. It is now the $10,000 which is the new base, but not earlier. So the correct approach would be to find out, and so we have two methods. So let's say we have the standard method wherein you say x plus 0.25x equals to 10,000. So x is initial and 25% increase of x. So x 1.25 equals to 10k. You can solve this simply. Your x will come as $8,000. So this is one way. The another approach, and which typically I follow, right, is that I don't use pen and paper to solve these questions. These are oral questions. So the moment he says my income increased by 25%, the moment I hear 25%, what comes to my mind is 1 by 4. That means I'll assume that my income is, let's say, 4x. Now it has increased by 25%, which is 1 by 4 of 4x, right? That means which is x, so it has increased by x, it has become 5x. But the question says 5x is actually 10,000, isn't it? The new income. So what is x? X is the multiplying factor, it is 2,000 here. So if x is 2,000 here, your original was actually 8,000. Simple. Moving to the next question. The price of fuel has increased by 50%. By what percentage should you reduce the consumption to incur the same expense? I think first of all, this is a very, very important question in exam, and you will see it every now and then, and it could be in different forms. So sometimes the expenditure is constant, sometimes it could be that the revenue is constant. So revenue equals to, let's say, sales, right, into the price. So they are saying the sales is dropping. By what percentage should you increase the price so that the revenue is same, and so on. So let's solve our question, the task at hand. So it says the price of a fuel has increased by 50%. Okay. So how I will assume is the moment I will say, okay, I'll say expense equals to price into consumption, right? So they are saying price of fuel is increased by 50%. The moment I say 50%, I will say, let us assume this is 2x. It has increased by 50%, so I'll assume it has become 2x plus x, which is 3x. Okay, and this is constant. The expense is constant. So what should I multiply into here? Because ultimately the multiplication of both these, right, this as well as this multiplication, the product are same. So using the concept of simple LCM, I can say this should be something like, let's say 3, and this can be 2 because 2 into 3 is 6, 3 into 2 is 6. So if this increase from 2 to 3, what should this decrease by? 3 is to 2 it is becoming, right? So as to become equal. So this is simply how much? 1 by 3, which is 33.33. So I can do this question orally. If you don't want this method, and if you want to go by the standard method, even that is fine. So simply what you have to do is, initial price was P and consumption was C. Now you're saying this is equal to the price has increased by, let's say, 50%. So the new price would be 1.5p, right, into the new consumption N, which is you have to find out. So if you solve this equation, P gets cancelled. Your new consumption becomes 0.66 of C. That means how much it has reduced? 1 minus 0.3333, right? So your, by what percentage should you reduce the question? So it should actually be 33.33%. Let's move to the last question in this video, and it says, which is a better deal, 50 plus 50% or 60 plus 40%. So when I was little, I used to think 50 plus 50% is 100%. But is that the case? No. Let's see what the math has to say now. So instead of guessing, saying 50 plus 50, yeah, 60 plus 40, both 100, I think it's same. I think you should do the math. So let's see, 50 plus 50. So let's imagine the price of an item is 100 rupees. Now if there's a 50% discount on the same, first is a 50% discount, so it becomes 50, the new price. Now they're saying there's an additional 50% discount on the 50, which is now 25. That means the price was 100 and it has become 25. That means this 50 plus 50 is actually equivalent of 75% discount. Let's see what 60 plus 40 translates to. 60 plus 40%, right? So let's say the price of a shirt was 100 and there is a 60% discount, right? So this becomes 40 the price. Now they're saying there's an additional 40% discount on the same. So 40% of 40, that means this is 16, so it becomes 24. That means from 100 it has actually become 24. So 60 plus 40% is actually equivalent of 76% discount. So the math tells us that the second is a better option, right? So thanks for watching the video. In this video, we covered the important concept of percentage change. And I think by now we finish all the important concepts of percentage. And in the next video, we'll discuss and solve more questions and practice more questions. Thank you.